welcome to the cottage. I am Babs with Cottage Rogue.
And I'm Cass from Dances with Floss.
And welcome to the end of the world.
We're here today to begin our SAL. We have been planning long before we decided to do a floss tube or our own separate floss tubes to stitch long dog samplers Ragnarok.
Ta-da! Ragnarok, the amazing long dog sampler, and the end of the world.
Yes, it is the Norse myth of the end of the world.
Now, we originally planned to start on January 1st, but given the current political events, we felt it was topical to start on January 20th. As a side note, to make it easier for y'all to navigate in this video, I have gone ahead and put down times and labels of the topics that we are talking about in the description below. So welcome to our
End of the World SAL.
Yeah. So why don't we go over our different fabrics and different flosses of what we're planning, because we're both doing the same project but very different methods. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. All right, so for my fabric, I've decided to go bright, which I usually don't go bright. I usually go more neutral.
Usually bright is me.
Yes.
I'm very anti-neutral.
You could tell. But I decided to go with Avocado by BeStitchMe. It is on 20 count. I love this. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we spent months messaging each other back and forth screenshots of fabric and what potential floss we would use with that fabric to decide. And I just got so wrapped up in what color my floss could be that I couldn't settle on a brightly colored fabric like I normally do. And I went with Badlands by BeStitchMe, also in 20 count. And I will admit the name Badlands might have had a little bit to do with my final decision.
Obviously, Avocado had nothing to do with my final decision. But it works. It works.
And we really got into the nitty gritty details. Like, I'm a matchy theme person through and through. And since I knew that I was going to be living with this project for literal years because it's so big, I bought a special bag for it. I bought a special needle minder for it. I went with this beautiful bag with dogs on it because it's a long dog. But what put it over the top as the perfect bag for my very first long dog sampler was the little medallions, the little best friend medallions, since I'm doing this with my friend. We have known each other since we were 16 years old.
Yes. Long time. It's the perfect bag. I love that bag.
But I had to choose that.
And I am going with a fairly recent acquisition from Jasmine's Custom Bag, which is very like dark academia, cottage core, and all that. I love this. It's beautiful. There's also skulls.
Oh yeah, you have to show off that lining.
So many skulls. That's what really put this over the top for me. That was a nice surprise when I got this. So thank you, Jen.
Did I say mine was by Shiba Designs?
You did not.
My bag was by Shiba Designs.
Yeah. Just gorgeous.
And my needle minder. So I don't know how much you know about Norse mythology, but I was inspired by the Yggdrasil tree and the squirrel that runs up and down the tree, gossiping to all the different levels about what's going on. And I went with a squirrel needle minder.
Yay.
Because, you know, gotta love the squirrel. Gotta give some squirrels love. Cold hands, warm heart. But I was just thinking, of course, a squirrel with that much on his mind to jabber on about has got to be drinking coffee.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
for sure. I didn't think that far ahead with needle minders. I'm going to be honest. But I do have a dragon in my collection. My D20 crit dragon. and I thought this would be perfect. I believe there is a dragon on this.
It's a world serpent.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
there
a
is.
serpent.
There
that
is a
counts.
dragon. Yep.
So I'm gonna go with this unless I find something better in the years to come. So for sure.
I have this planned out. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to get it done sooner. I could, but the plan as of right now is that since this pattern is 16 pages, if we do 1 page per quarter, we should have this done by the end of 4 years.
Yep.
So I may do it sooner out of just optimistic hope for the future, but probably going to be a 4-year project.
It'll be a good long ride.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Flosses. Flosses are fun. We had a lot of fun with this. I have a variety of different types. I know with long dogs, generally you go with like 1 or 2 types of flosses, and I did not. and I have some silks and some not silks. But I discovered Silks for You, and so I have quite a few of those. One thing I really wanted to do was this pattern has not only Norse mythology images in there, but it also has some red herrings. So what I wanted to do was put the red herrings in red. And so I have PR 126, which is a Silks for You, and I actually already have some on a floss drop I made. But it's this beautiful, like, variegated red that I love, and it is a dream to work with. I love this so much. There we go. And then I also have a couple others. I have PR 059, and this is like a blonde. I have not floss dropped this yet because it's going to take me a little bit. And this is going to be for Odin and for Odin's horse, Sleipnir. And then I also have PR 185, which is very autumnal. I'm all about autumn is my favorite time of the year. So we've got the oranges and a pale red, browns and greens all in here. And this is going to be for the leaves of the Yggdrasil, which I love.
Which we're definitely going to run into on the first 4 pages.
For sure. And then I also have, speaking of Yggdrasil, and the ship, which I just found out was called Nagflar. I'm sorry for my pronunciations. But I have from BeStitchMe Black Walnut, which is this beautiful hand-dyed silk. And this I had purchased on the trip that Cass and I went to on our most recent endeavor. When there was, when was that?
Black Friday.
It was Black Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went on Black Friday.
So I have that one. I also have Night by Pirate and Robin. This one's for Fenrir. And at this point, also the Sun and Moon Wolf. It's got some light grays in there and then some darker colors of variation. I think it's so pretty. And then I have for the sky, water, and the border between, I have Bog Witch, which I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, you can in this light.
Oh, good job.
Fabulous. So it's got this green and blue in it.
How many skeins of that did you get?
I got 4.
Oh, good.
And not for the outside border, just the inside border.
Okay.
And that should be enough according to my calculations, hopefully. I do have an extra one of this here.
I don't know how to math that.
I don't ask me how right now. That's not my forte. And then for all the other non-red herrings, I have Pirate and Robin's Wednesday, which is their darker black that they have. Because red herrings are red herrings, so they're the ones that stick out. We'll see if that changes down the road, but you know, that's what it'll be for now.
I wanted to do Silks for You, but I couldn't settle. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And I kept looking at all these beautiful multicolored Ragnaroks there's a Facebook group that is just Ragnarok.
So awesome to look at.
And I was quietly stalking the posts for color inspiration because it is awesome. They are
Yes.
beautiful. Hats off to all of those stitchers in that Facebook group. If any of you are watching,
Yes.
wow.
And thank you for the inspiration.
Mhm.
You do gorgeous work.
Looking at the sheer amount of yardage needed for
Mhm.
this, I decided that maybe it was practical to go with sulkies. And I really like stitching with sulky floss on 20 count because that's what I've been doing for my Stitch for Pride spot samplers, is using sulkies on the 12 weight sulkies on 20 count. So I decided, since I know I like that, to just continue that.
Yeah, no need to reinvent the wheel.
And there's 50 yards per spool, so it should be
Nice.
easy to figure out how much I need. Now I am going with a multicolored scheme, similar to Barbara's, but in sulkies. And because my fabric is a neutral and is kind of brown tones, my favorite color is green. So I went with greens and blues, but dominantly greens. So the way I have it broken down, for the border, I'm using this one, which is 1287. And that is French green. For the sky, which I'm definitely going to run into on the first page, I am using 1205, which is medium jade, which I always thought of jade as being a green color, but this is definitely like an aqua blue.
Yeah, I agree. I always thought jade was more of a green.
Mm-hmm. But when I looked up the color numbers, that's what it said the color name was. Some supporting colors that I have for these, and I'll use these blendables in different ways throughout, different leaves, things like that. I got 4051 Forever Green. It's a sulky petite blendable.
I love that one. It's so
I love
pretty.
it too. And this one's got a little more like blue and green in it. So I probably will use it closer to the water. It is 4086, and that is Cactus. This one's got a lot of bright green and blue. This is definitely going close to the water.
I love that one.
This is 4075. Celadon.
That's really pretty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. So this is where I'm getting my brights. I couldn't stand the idea of stitching neutral floss on a bright fabric. I wanted bright, but then I couldn't settle on a bright fabric to go with my bright floss. So I was like, all right, I concede. I will go neutral whether I like it or not.
And just make it stand out, so that'll be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Now this is definitely, I think, going to be in some of the areas with water. It's probably going to be the water. 4016 is Peacock Plume. It's a dark,
love that.
A dark green and blue. So I really love that blendable. And I think this one's going to end up being on the boat because I like the idea of this last one here. 4070, well, I say last one, it's not. 4076. It is Breeze, and it's kind of a brown and aqua blendable. And I was thinking this would be good for the boat, so that you kind of get the idea of water splashing on the wood. That was my thought. I mean, I reserve the right to be flexible on this, and as I find other blendables, maybe I want to do that instead and just switch them out before I've started that motif. But so far that's the plan. My red herrings, I kind of have a I have two different competing ideas in my head. Because I want to be dominant, I want the dominant color to be green. The first one I bought is 4010, and it's called Caramel Apple. But now I have stitched with this on a different project since I bought this, and it reads very gold. You don't notice, you do see the red. You definitely see the red. The gold almost distracts you from the red though. So I don't want to have to fussy cut too much. I know it's going to get used. I'm just not sure because I also have red brick.
I like that one.
But what I don't like about this one is while it's very dominantly red, there's that purpley blue, which I'm not wild about.
That is true.
So I'm still on the hunt for the right red for the red herrings, but I'm leaning towards these two. Oh, I have one more solid color that will get worked in. That's a green. Definitely going to use it on something. 0580 is Mint Julep.
That's just refreshing.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I got into something really funky and weird. So I was doing a search because I was trying to find the right blendable gray for Fenrir, because if you know the myth, the kickoff to this whole thing is that Fenrir the wolf bites off the hand of, is it Balder?
Ooh, I believe so.
And breaks his chains.
Yeah, it just said Fenrir broke free of his chains.
Yeah. Well, he breaks free of his chains by biting a hand off. You didn't know that.
So
now you do. So I'm really excited to stitch Fenrir, and he needed the right color. And I went down a rabbit hole, as I'm prone to do. And I discovered there is another brand of 12-weight floss on a spool, Aurifil, and they have wool. So I got a 12-weight wool floss, and it kind of is like a little fluffy.
I
So
love
I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna like add texture to his fur. This one is called Gray Melange. Does that that just sounds like it belongs on a wolf?
I agree. 100%.
I'm so excited about this. It is number 8082 if you're looking for it. I am super excited to try this.
I love the slight shimmer on it in the light.
Mm-hmm.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. I'm very excited to stitch Fenrir when we get there. So I might stitch ahead. You don't know. I might have a strong, mighty need to stitch a wolf.
That's true.
I also, to give some more brown to the Yggdrasil tree and anywhere else that I feel needs brown fur instead of gray fur. This is kind of a gray brown mix, but it's more brown than gray. And it has a fun name, Nutty Nougat. It is also a wool 12 weights. So I am very excited about the wool. It's going to be good. I did buy one other Aurifil. This is the last one I bought for this project. It is a cotton, and it is Silver Fox.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And my intention is to use this on the two smaller wolves. So in theory, the only actual gray in the project will be on the wolves. The two smaller wolves are the wolves that ate the sun and the moon. So they're going to get this one.
What we're going to do is go and get started, and then we'll come back to you separately and show you our progress. So that means if you're watching my video, then you'll want to finish it up and then go over to Dances with Floss to Cass's video and then see her progress, and vice versa. If you're on Cass's video, come on over to Cottage Rogue when you're done with her video and then see my progress.
And I might include a few other things in mine so that it's not a quick, you popped over for 2 minutes of me showing you my progress.
Same.
So I
sure, same.
I won't be that mean. But yeah, so hopefully you'll follow along. Find us on Instagram. On Instagram, I don't show up as Dances with Floss. I show up as Mini Maneater Pinup. Or is it Pinup Mini Maneater?
I think Mini Maneater's first.
I think it's Mini Maneater Pinup, because I also do pinup.
Yeah. And I'm at Cottage Rogue.
So please follow us on Instagram.
We do post pictures, update photos of our projects.
Yep. And I know the hashtags are still there. You can't follow a hashtag, but you can search a hashtag.
Yes.
So we are, again, using hashtag EndoftheWorldSAL.
Hello, we have the results now of what I have done. I'm so excited to show you for my Ragnarok here. And ta-da! So I've outlined the page one here horizontally and vertically. And Cass actually did a thing where she tick marked it every 10. So it's like she has a makeshift grid. I thought that was super cool and a really smart idea. So I copied it. And for good reason too, because the very first page of Ragnarok here, which is the hope is that part of it. Hold on, let's see. Hope is and then there's a few leaves, the rocking horse, and that's pretty much it. And then the hope is I noticed on my pattern keeper that the E was missing. So 5 stitches here are missing all the way down and all the way across on the bottom. And that's because the pattern itself is shaded on the first page, which the first page should never be shaded. So because of that, Pattern Keeper took those out because it thought that it was overlapping. And so if you do go ahead and get this pattern and you upload it into Pattern Keeper, just be aware that those stitches are going to be missing. And it's 5 stitches on the row on vertical and horizontal. And then of course it would be pages 1, 5, 9, and 13 for the vertical. And then I didn't do the page numbers for the horizontal, but you can figure that out. So be aware of that. I noticed that because I'm also an editor, super part-time. I do my oodles amount of spare time, and so I just was going through my pattern keeper and noticed the E is missing in the. So I'm glad we figured that out yesterday, and then Cass and I were going through it, the pattern, the physical pattern itself, and just making sure that there wasn't anything else. And then that's when we discovered the bottom as well. So the page 1 on Ragnarok has a print error, and it will show that there are 5 horizontal and 5 vertical lines that are shaded, which should not be on the first page. So I have done on this, because I actually did this whole row here, and then I had to add 5 additional stitches on the 3 rows, because there's 3 of them. And so I have done 349 stitches to date. So that's what it looks like so far. This is going to be so cute. I am so excited for this. I've also worked out a few other colors, which I will show you later. But I wanted to talk about our title because we are titling this like Sassy Stitchers Extra. And Sassy is something that both Cass and I have gone by in our past. And I know in high school, I even had a shirt that said Sassy on it. I may or may not still have it. Can't wear it, but it's just something that's always been a part of me. And then also, as I got into YouTube in like 2014, 2015, started my original channel, which is a Minecraft gaming channel with my husband. That's Rogue Alchemist, but I went by, and I still go by, Sassy Rogue. And so it's just always been a thing for me, which is super fun. And then you'll have to go see Cass on her channel, Dances with Floss, for her explanation on Sassy. So that's why our collabs will be Sassy Stitchers Extra. And that's what we're going to do with that. And we do plan to do this a few times a year. And just kind of to go over the patterns, not only Ragnarok, which I love Ragnarok, is so much fun already, but also some of the patterns that we're doing like together but separate, if that makes sense. Like for instance, next month in February, we're gonna have my dad's birthday sale, and so I chose a pattern for that, which is Heart Sampler by Bad Vibes Only. And Cass is going to be stitching that with me, and then her birthday's in March, so we're going to be doing her birthday sale, which I don't know if she has a name for that yet. You'll have to ask her. But she is choosing 4 bird patterns by TheArtsyHousewife, which I don't have the titles in front of me right now, but they're birds in cups, or with cups. There's an owl, a flamingo, a raven, and most recently, a tier 2 Patreon pattern, a dove. So I'm really excited to stitch those. They're smaller, which is great. And so just keep an eye out for those as well too, from the two of us. So we're having a blast. We're having a grand time. I would love to know what you think about Ragnarok and about the colors, and whether or not that you have either done this or are planning to join us for the hashtag EndoftheWorldSAL. Just let us know. Leave a comment below. And if you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, do all the things. It really does help out the channel. But otherwise, remember, my cottage is always open. Bye-bye.